Hello, welcome to Tiger Tropics. The other day I posted on my YouTube channel that I had a leak on the very top of this tank. Now, it turns out with a fluid Vincenza, they suffer with condensation along the lip line here. Now, as I've stated before, the seam itself, you can see, there you go, dripping down. The seam itself at the back had popped. Now, I suspect that this is probably quite a very old tank. Now, I filled this tank up the other day. I emptied this tank down to around about somewhere here, and it was still having a small leak. Now, I was trying to determine whether it was coming from inside there and around, but as soon as I actually filled it, it started dripping quite badly. So what I'm going to do, just see, this tank has to sort of just get me by for the time being. Hopefully when I make my move out of this property, and I'll be looking at getting a brand new tank, something different. But at the moment this tank seems to have more holes than Swiss cheese in it. So like I say, I can't determine whether it's actually coming from here or whether it's coming from the seam itself. Now when I fill the seam, it's dry. I look at the actual colouring of the seam to see if there's any particles that have come through, normally an indication that water's getting through, and I can't see none. So I'm going to play caution to the wind now, cut a section of the silicone up at the top, somewhere to about here, while the tank's got water in it, and then I'm going to seed it, which is going to entail me cutting some of the silicone away to clean that thing. Now, problem is I've got fish in the tank, so the sealant itself, I think, is toxic to the fish, so I can't get none of the sealant inside the tank itself. And any cleaning products I use have got to be natural. So I'll be reverting to my vinegar solution and using a cloth to basically keep any silicone from entering the water. I think what I'll do is I'll empty the water down a bit more, just so I've got some sort of space to make sure that, because I'm only going to go about that far down, because somewhere around about there it stops. Yeah, so so if I go to where the water line is now, and then that should be enough silicone. Plus gives a bit of added strength there, being some fresh silicone. But remember, when you silicone anything, silicone doesn't go on top of silicone. So you've got to clear that bit there. Now, the issue is that the joint between the two pieces, in between, has silicone, and then on the actual on top of the joint has silicone. Now, the perfect way of doing it is actually cutting it all out, as I did for the back, cutting it all out and squirting the silicone in between to seal it properly. Now, I'm not too sure if I'm going to do that, because all I want is a temporary fix, to be honest, so it's going to hold for a few months at least, allow me to fill the tank up with water, carry the whole thing on, and Now also, when I read on the packet, it says that for a 2mm bead, it's basically 24-hour curing. So another thing I need to make sure is that it's not a large bead that I put on it, but sufficient enough to create a seal. And obviously there's such a thing as overlapping silicone as well. So there's a few variables. This might not work at all, but I'm going to try it out, see if it does work, and then and then tomorrow, what's the time now? 4 o'clock. Tomorrow, 4 o'clock, I'll fill the tank up and see if it's actually worked, and I'll fill that up. or it'll be a little bit more than 4, a little bit later than that. But yeah, I'll basically show you the whole process of how I've done it and if it works. Okay, thank you. So like I say, I think I'm going to go around about here, just to be safe. I'm going to cut that away with the scalpel, roughly about here, should be adequate. And to be honest, it's alright, there we go. Looks like it's gonna come out in one piece. Might actually be doing us a favour, to be honest. Yeah, so what I want is basically, as you can see, cutting at point now. Cut out, because the whole thing is just making sure that when you put the piece, when you squeeze the bit in, that it's clean. The problem is, you've got water in here and you've got livestock in here. It's be so careful. Right, ideally use methylated spirits and you clean the surface that way, which I'm not going to be able to do. Right, make sure it's clean. Now, this section here, it's been cut out as well. Trust me, this isn't yet the most ideal. Ideally, this whole thing should be taken apart, jigged up, and redone. But in all fairness, it just needs to basically fit a purpose for now. And then yeah, that'll probably be on a different day. I'll pull the whole thing apart and re-silicone it. Right, to be honest, it's not wet. It's actually not wet. So after I do this, what I'm suspecting is that I might still have a leak. It'll be less, but might still end up having one because it comes from the actual seal itself, from the rim itself. Yeah. I want a nice big section of silicone, so I'm trying to be careful as well. Alright. Okay, so I'm trying to pick out as much of the silicone as possible. Alright, cool. So, what I'm going to do now is, with my solution of vinegar and water, try to clean the surface to allow something for the silicone to sit on. There, that'll be it. Okay, what you've got to do is cut the end of this off on the tube and basically place this on. Now, watch a couple of tutorial videos. Turns out if you cut this at an angle and you get a neater line in, so be careful. Cut so it's like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, place it like that and fill that section. Now my finger, I'm going to push into the gap itself to make sure that it's sealed. Now this is never a neat job. Well, not when I do it anyway. Now, like I said before, you don't want to go stupid with the silicone because then it's going to take a long time for it to cure. And what you want in this situation is you want it to cure pretty fast. So make sure that even on the inside you cover the overlap of the old silicone. Take a bit of this and then just like that, and know that basically, even though it looks a bit poo, it's going to seal up pretty well. Oh nice, it's on my jumper now. Yeah, you're going to have to cut that excess off. Right, so what I'm going to do as well, just to be doubly sure, is put some in the corner at the top. Just add precaution, to be honest. Okay. Just a little bit more there. Right. So I think what I'm going to do with a razor blade, just cut the excess off, or take some of the excess off, save me a bit of work at a later stage. Okay. Right, so basically just trim some of that off. Like I say, make sure it don't go in the water. In fact, my only concern is the fumes. So obviously fish themselves don't like the fumes, it's toxic. So I'm going for a minimum size bead to hopefully ensure faster curing, which means less exposure. Let's go around over here just so you can see what I'm doing here as well. Like I say, just make sure it doesn't go into the tank. I think, to be honest, it needs just a touch more. Now it's going to, very soon it's going to start, what they call, like it's going to form the skin. So, got to make sure that you do what you need it to do before you stop messing about with it. Okay, I think that's it. I think that's the best that it's going to be, to be honest. Best that I'm going to be able to do it anyway. Yeah, so like I said, just make sure you try to take off as much as the excess as you can, because the last thing you want is all of that peeling into the tank when it starts sealing. And when it's sealed. Now I think what I'll do as well, yeah, nice. There you go. Let's test this out. Let's see if this actually takes. Yeah, man, it works. Okay, I think most of that cleaning is going to have to be done with the razor blade, and that's going to be difficult in itself because you don't want that dropping in. I mean, the actual silicone itself is non-toxic. But still, preferably you don't want anything dropping into the tank itself. I think I'll stop messing about with that. Get a clean razor blade. Wait. Okay. Well, see how that works out, and wait for it to cure. It looks pretty good. Yeah, wicked. Right, it's the next day. As you can see, 5 o'clock the next day. It should be fully cured now. According to the packaging of the Arbosil 1081, 2ml takes 24 hours to cure. So roughly about that thing. So we're going to find out now if it worked. As you can see, it's filled in. Like I say, time is of the essence, so try to keep the bead as small as I could. Hopefully this isn't going to have a side effect on the actual how well it holds, but fingers crossed, should be alright. Okay, so like I say, seems to be holding well. I'm hoping that, like I said before, this tank just holds out until I can initialise a move from this property, go to the next property, for it to hold strong now while the fish are growing, until hopefully one way or another I can afford the 8-footer that I want to get, and then they'll all move into that. And then probably the right thing to do is pull the whole thing apart, redo all the seams with it being braced and all the rest of it. I'll probably invest in a new stand, and yeah, I might just show how to basically reset it. Now, the reason I've done it this way is, like I say, money's tight at the moment, and for you lot which are doing this hobby on a budget, as I am, sometimes we've got to do these little jobs that I've just done. Now, I know there's a lot of you experienced hobbyists out there that will be turning around and pulling their hair out and saying, well, why have you done that? You know, you're supposed to, the proper way is to pull the whole thing apart and redo the whole thing, which is true. That is the right way to do it. But sometimes when you're lacking experience and knowledge and just finding a job a little bit daunting, you tackle the jobs you can do. So this is why I've done what I've done, and I'm showing it on the channel as well. I'm not trying to hide what I'm doing. Yeah. I assume any bit of documentation I can put on my channel on these little mishaps and fails and stuff like that is going to help someone out there. So yeah, I mean, like I say, for those that are experienced, got a bit of money in their pocket, fair enough, you can go and buy a new tank. That's good for you. But for those who, like I say, on a shoestring a lot of the time and trying to have your cake and eat it, this is a quick fix to get you through. But in all honesty, it does give me the thing that at one point all of the seams will have to be changed, because once seams start going, like I've had the back go, redone that, now the top here. Now I'm not 100% sure, but I think on the very tip of it, it was leaking. Now I'd rather put a stop to that for now, fix it for now, until I'm in a better financial situation to do something about it. But like, subscribe, please share my channel. I would really like for this channel to blow up. I'd like to really be able to help people out, you know, offer a bit of advice, show a bit of advice. You know, I know some of the stuff that I'm doing is out there on the internet already, but the idea is instead of having channels here and there doing different aspects and elements of this hobby, there'll be just one channel that will cover all of these aspects. So as my journey progresses and I learn more and more stuff, I like to relay that on to you guys, and yeah, hopefully we'll grow together, and yeah, tune in, watch, comment, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Thank you.